Hi everyone, Torah learning continues despite the security situation. Children pray to God in the bombarded city of Tzfat. Metula couple stands strong in front of the dangers, and more than 200 new Olim arrive in Israel, hoping and praying for better days. This is Israeli Salad. Shalom and welcome to Israeli Salad. The security situation in Israel is still far from quiet. Hezbollah terrorists are continuing to bombard Israel's northern cities. The holy city of Tzfat has suffered significant bombardment throughout these days of war here in Israel. The IDF Home Front Command has ordered residents of the northern cities to stay in sheltered areas. The city of Tzfat has many yeshivot, where Torah is studied and prayers are recited throughout the whole year. The yeshivot in Tzfat decided that despite of the situation, and in spite of the situation, Torah must continue. Some yeshivot stayed in the bombarded city, while others, like the yeshiva we will meet now, were hosted by institutes in central Israel. Rabbi Ezer Scheinberg, head of the Arutz Yeshiva in Tzfat, decided after the beginning of the bombardment of the northern Galilean city to transfer his yeshiva temporarily to the central community of Nechalim.
The barrage of missiles fell right next to us. We survived. One barrage was too close to our study hall. It was damaged. That proved that we were too close, and so we wanted to find a solution. We contacted our friends here in the Nechalim Yeshiva, and we asked to transfer our yeshiva to here, to this structure. Thank God, we got a positive answer. The head of the yeshiva greeted us with open arms. On a physical level, we have some difficulties. We hope to solve these problems soon with the help of other people. Maybe a nearby catering service will help us. But the main thing is that the Beit Midrash, the study hall, is here. The guys are learning. The most important thing is to continue learning Torah.
Turns out that while the yeshiva was still open and active in the Galilee, representatives of the Nechalim Yeshiva, who are also graduates of the Tzfat Yeshiva, were there as well as the rockets started falling.
Suddenly, in the middle of our learning, we heard two big booms. Around 150 meters from us, a Katusha rocket fell. The yeshiva helped evacuate the local residents, and all the students had to evacuate the yeshiva. After all, Katusha attack is not a simple incident. We went back towards Nechalim, and we talked to the rabbis about the possibility of hosting the Tzfat Yeshiva. The rabbi there was very happy and said, "Of course they're invited."
בסביבות שעה 3 וקצת התחיל פיצוץ נוראי שהגיע.
At around 3 o'clock we heard a big explosion. We were in the dormitories and the guys were really shocked and shaken. We all went into the bomb shelters. On Friday, we organized ourselves and we came to Nechalim. I want to say to those who stayed on the northern front, be strong. We're praying for you. We hope that with God's help, we'll return up north soon. People here, in central Israel, people should pray for the nation. The nation of Israel needs your prayers, needs your Torah learning. The love of Israel, kindness. This is what will help the situation.
ברוך השם, בגלל שהישיבה שלנו נמצאת במרכז העניינים בצפת, אז הרבה נעזרים בכוחות של הישיבה.
Because our yeshiva is in the center of Tzfat, after every barrage we receive the barrage of phone calls. People are trying to find spiritual meaning in this. What does God want? What should we do now on the spiritual level? It's okay to say we told you this will happen, but that won't help. There's one thing we must know. We don't want to say, we told you so again. We told them, don't evacuate Gush Katif, they'll fire at us from Gaza. And now they're firing. We said, don't leave Lebanon, they'll fire at us from there. And now we see that these were 6 years of false tranquility in which our enemies armed themselves. People should take it upon themselves to learn another halacha, another paragraph of Psalms, anything that brings about spiritual strength. This is the real answer that will bring strength. With God's help, situations like these will not happen again.
The coastal city of Haifa, one of the major metropolitan cities in Israel, has become a battlefront city. in this confrontation with terror. By reaching the city of Haifa, the Hezbollah showed that they could shoot farther than the Galilean cities and towns. But also in Haifa, Torah learning will not be stopped. Let's now meet one of the institutes who decided to stay in Haifa. In the coastal city of Haifa, Torah learning is continuing in this rocket-bombarded city. The IDF authorities directed the local Hesder Yeshiva to leave the city. However, the rabbis of the yeshiva decided to stay in Haifa and transfer their learning to a safer location.
At a time when the nation of Israel is in distress, any person who's connected to the Torah should be on the front line with the rest of the people. We can't be with the army. Well, actually, some of our students are there. The Torah must stay with the people, especially at a time when the public is in distress. One may not abandon the Torah. In the time of Moses, when the nation went out to war, the Holy Ark of God was carried in front of the army. The Zionist religious community, thank God, is characterized by the fact that it never leaves the Israeli public. We didn't leave the nation a year ago when we were in Gush Katif, and we won't abandon the nation here in Haifa.
And so, while the IDF is busy fighting against the Hezbollah terrorists on the battlefront, residents are doing whatever they can from the northern Israeli cities, the home front.
I have a brother who's in the IDF. He was sent to the battlefront. And so, I thought to myself, that poor guy is going to be running and sweating. The least I could do is to stay where I am and say to him, if you're fighting for me, I'm not leaving. There's a precept in the Torah, you shall not fear them. That's a mitzvah for times when our soldiers are in battle. When they're fighting a war, the whole nation is at war.
Back to Tzfat, special children's prayer sessions are held twice a day in Tzfat. A car of one of the local residents calls all the children to gather in sheltered areas to recite psalms, prayers, and phrases from the Tanakh. Around 100 kids participate in the prayer sessions. In the Talmud it says, the world exists only for the sake of the breath which comes out of the mouth of school children when they are studying Torah. We all hope and believe that their prayers will be answered.
We took our Siddur, our prayer book, and we prayed to God that even if a missile lands here, or if it doesn't land here, most important is that it shouldn't fall upon us. That's what I prayed for. I asked in the merit of the Rebbe that there should be no more bombardments. The prayer of the children has special value to God. It can bring special protection for the nation of Israel, especially now as the nation in the Holy Land is in danger. The Rebbe taught us that the holy city of Tzfat is like one big shelter, and we shouldn't be afraid. Every day we have a multiple barrage of miracles here in Tzfat. It's amazing to see how God protects the nation. Yes, there are casualties, people have been killed or wounded, but if you look at the proportions, we see that there is a lot for which to thank God.
After the prayer gatherings, the organizers take advantage of the fact that the children are together, and they let them talk and express their fears and stress. INN TV staff have been spending a lot of time in the northern cities speaking with the local residents. One thing's sure, the nation of Israel is strong. Gabi Newman brings us the story of two brave residents of the northern city of Metula.
Moshe Weispish loves his home in the Galilean city of Metula. As far as he is concerned, nothing can spoil his enjoyment of the view from his garden. Even not the fact that his home is located less than 2 miles away from the Lebanese border and the sound of the Katyusha missiles being launched has become part of life. Moshe has no fear.
Because I feel that when Jews are in exile, especially Jews who could live here, but they stay there for economic reasons and other reasons, then they are not as protected by the Almighty as if they would be here.
Shoshana, Moshe's wife, has a similar opinion.
This is the homeland of the Jews. I know this is where we belong. And again, I think it's very important that we show the enemy that we are very strong. Inside, not only the people, but the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, we're all very, very strong, we're going to stand tough, and we're not going to move.
Moshe's life story had a great influence on his point of view. He was born in Germany in 1937. A German army officer convinced his mother to escape with her family from the Nazis to the Far East.
In 1944, I was a refugee in China, in Shanghai, because the Japanese were the only ones in the whole world who let the Jews in. They occupied all the coastal cities of China. So we were in Shanghai. There were 20,000 Jews from Europe there, mainly from Germany and other countries around it. And when they, it was on July 17, the Americans came to bomb the Japanese bases there. At least 1,000 Chinese were killed that day. And this was July 17, 1944. And we are now on July 16, 2006.
Moshe knows firsthand what it's like not to have a home, not to have a country, to have to flee with one little suitcase, fleeing for your life, living in Shanghai all those years. That gives me a lot of encouragement, a lot of strength. So I, in turn, want to show him my resolve that I'm not going to move either, that I feel the same way he does.
The vice species moved to Metula from Bethel in the Binyamin region a year and a half ago.
We both see now that we are still chalutzim, we are still pioneers. We pioneered near Ramallah, and now we're pioneering here.
Fortunately, very tragically, now the people of Haifa can see how the people of Gush Katif must have felt all those years. Now it's hitting everyone. No one is safe. No one has been safe for a very long time here. But now it's hitting the larger cities. They understand what these people went through. Nothing can tell you the story unless it hits home. And once it begins to hit home, it's alive. And now I know they understand. Tragically, we're very sorry for them. What a tragic lesson for us all to have to learn. But that's how it is, and they're going to have to learn also. You don't run away. You don't run away from small cities, big cities, border towns. You have to stand, and you have to stand your ground.
Although he is again under a threat of bombardment, Moshe finds the situation today completely different.
The difference is that in China, I had no defense. And this is what is very important for me. It's very emotional for me. An Israeli who is born here, to him it is normal that the Israeli Air Force comes and defends him, or the Israeli army. But I lived first in Germany, then in China, and there was nobody there to defend us. And now, Baruch Hashem, we have an Israeli army, Israeli Air Force, and they come to defend us. So when I saw a whole group of planes flying over our house on the way to Lebanon, it gave me a lot of emotions that at the age of 68, I lived to see an Israeli army and Air Force defend the Jewish people.
I'm not going anywhere, nor is my husband.
In these days of turmoil, Aliyah, immigration to Israel, has very special value. After all, the natural expansion of the Jewish nation in the land of Israel, whether by womb or by plane, is one of the most essential weapons against those who wish to destroy us. INN's Yechezkel Lang and Tennis Samuel met more than 200 immigrants who arrived in the Ben Gurion airport.
Hezbollah terrorists pound the state of Israel. Night and day, missiles fall. The land of Israel engulfed in war. But will the Jews knuckle under? Will they run away? If the latest Nefesh B'Nefesh Jewish Agency flight of New Olim is any indication, they just keep on coming. Sheikh Nasrallah, prepare to meet the new Zionist enemy.
Daniel, Taylor, Avner, Lior.
I'm not gonna let him scare me. I can't be scared by that. He's my home. I'm coming home. I'm home. That's it.
Do people think maybe you shouldn't be coming to Africa during a wartime?
Depends who you ask, but definitely is the right time.
Yes, why?
This is home. not going to abandon it anytime.
Making Aliyah this time, I think, is the most important time for us to come to show support for Israel, support for the people, and support for my family here. I've got tons of family in Israel, and I want to show them that we care. And this is the best time to come, and I'm happy to be home.
Any comments now about making Aliyah now?
He's gonna scream
I'm
at
going to
you.
scream.
And were you guys worried about making Aliyah now because there's a little bit of fighting going on?
Who cares? Lebanon is ours. I know Hebrew, but I don't speak it.
You try a sentence or two? Can we hear?
He'll do it. He'll do it.
Okay, let's hear some Hebrew for you.
אתה רוצה שאני אדבר?
Opa.
This flight of over 200 new Olim from the U.S. and Canada originated in New York and landed at Ben Gurion Airport early on Thursday morning.
Well, people have always made Aliyah at difficult times. I don't recall a period when Israel wasn't in some sort of conflict. They're making Aliyah with their eyes wide open.
The flight was actually very inspiring. It was scheduled, people scheduled this flight months ago, and their resolve was never wavered. They all came on the plane and inspired everyone who was involved, from the El Al to the Chayalim to all the people who came here. It was our 17th flight today, and we're going to 22 by the end of the summer, so a few more.
It's a personal visit for myself. It took me 20 years to get here, so for us it's a very long trip. We've been planning this for a very long time. We tried 3 times past 3 years. Didn't make it, but this time, Baruch Hashem, here we are. So it's a personal victory more than anything else.
Anything you want to say to Sheikh Nasrallah?
Drop dead.
Welcome to Israel, and thank you for coming. And thank you all for joining us for another edition of Israeli Salad. Join us again next time. Until then, from all of us here at INN TV, Arutz Sheva, Shalom.